up, guys? It's Clint. I am back. Hey, guys, we are pretending we're not having technical difficulties, but we are back. So, man, we got a hell of a show. We're going to be talking about Venom versus Spider Man 3. That is right. We were going to be talking about maybe some Why the Last Man Standing, but we're not going to do that. But we will talk a little bit about what if. Before we get started, guys, like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell. Let your friends know about our show. Even though we are having a bad start, you still want to tell your friends about us because, you know, this embarrassment, you need to share this with people. So let's get Curtis in here. Curtis, what is happening, man?
Not too much. Better late than never. It really wasn't our fault this time.
I know.
We were ready, guys. We were ready at 8 o'clock.
We were ready. Let's hit the air horn for the. We finally did it. Reese, Reese is in the house. What is up? Hello there. How was that? Pretty good. Hello there.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Holy crap, man! Who else we got out here? I'm stoked. Reese came. And where's my phone? Right there. All right, cool. How you been doing, man?
Pretty good. Like I said, we got some storms earlier today, and I think we're supposed to get it pretty much for the rest of the week. So it's probably rolling through y'all and down here the Houston area, and we're kind of glad for the rain, but just taper it out a little bit, Texas. You know, take your time with it. Doesn't have to be all at once. It doesn't. You know, we're cool with every now and again.
Dude, it is here right now. It is what my dad calls a turd floater. That's what my dad would say. It is going to be a turd floater. That is some Texan right there. Holy crap, Reese, it's almost 3 a.m. You just finished watching The Martian and saw we were live. That's right. We go on every Tuesday at 8, which means 3 for you. We may start going on. I might start having band practices again on Tuesdays, and which would mean we might go on at 6 my time, which would make it 1 a.m. your time. So that'd be a little easier for you. But we're glad you're here. Yeah, man, we're gonna be talking about Venom. I had seen Venom in the theater, and I hadn't seen it since then. And I went back to it, and I really enjoyed it in the theater. But I really enjoyed it the other day. I don't know if it's been because we had such a long stretch of 2020 with no good movies coming out because they were saving their movies for after the pandemic. But now finally they're just coming out. But I enjoyed it way more the second time seeing it than I did the first time. What did you think, Curtis?
Well, I hadn't seen it. Whenever it first came out, I don't know. I was into the Marvel Spider Man, so I was like, I didn't like the fact that Sony was doing their own thing, and that's a stupid reason. But I was kind of not against it, but I just wasn't very interested. And I'd heard a few people say they didn't like it that much. But I watched it for the first time this weekend, and it was a blast, man. I really enjoyed it. They did a decent job. I mean, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but it was just so much fun. My son watched it with me, and he's ready to go see it. We're going to go see the second one this weekend.
Hell yeah.
And we got him some Carnage Legos, and yeah, he really enjoyed it, and I did too. I can nitpick it with comic book stuff and all day and night, but it was so much fun. And the second one looks like it's going to be kind of even more in that vein, like more, Venom fun because it's not an origin story. They can do more with it.
What I'm hearing is that I was listening to another popular channel earlier, and they were saying that they saw some reviews, a lot of reviews, because they did a press screening, and what people are saying, if you like the first one, you're gonna love the second one. And there's people that didn't even like the first one that are enjoying the second one, that are like saying, hey, this is good, so that's really good news to me. That means it's a little bit better than the first one. And I thought again, in the theater, I was like, dude, that was pretty good. I mean, I could have had my complaints, but like, it's just it's supposed to be a crazy movie, and it was,
Yeah.
What did you think, Venom? Okay, cool. What were you gonna say?
I still think, well, we'll see how it is in the new one, but for some reason it seems like they haven't gotten Venom right yet, both in Spider-Man 3 or Venom. He looked he looked more like Venom in the Venom movie,
Right.
but I don't know. So, like but I remember the Todd McFarlane one where his jaw was really long and
Yeah.
stuff like that, very exaggerated. So that's the one I think of. So maybe it just doesn't look right to me. I mean, it's definitely, you can tell it's him, but I don't know. Like I wanted more of a McFarlane type Venom
Were
look.
you? Yeah. Were you a big Venom fan?
I was until I wasn't. Like the character itself was so great because he was in the. You want to go down the rabbit hole a little bit?
Let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's talk
Okay.
about Secret Wars and the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
The whole thing.
So in the
For
comics,
for
yeah,
those
if
for
you,
the explain it to Reese 75 because since he probably doesn't know that deep cut. Tell him all about that. Just kidding.
no, in the comic books, Spider-Man got the black suit in Secret Wars. In Secret Wars, they were taken so Secret Wars was literally a comic book that was created, or a miniseries, was created to sell toys. I can't remember which company. It was either Mattel or Hasbro. Marvel made a deal with them to sell toys, and they were like, "Well, we'll sell your toys, but we want like an event with it." Because the first He-Man toys came out with a little comic book, and then they made the show afterwards, and He-Man was a huge hit. So to try and kind of compete with that, Mattel or Hasbro, somebody correct me in the comments, but said, "All right, well, we'll make them, but we want these accessories as well. We want like you know, we want the guys, but we also want like a couple vehicles and stuff like that." So they basically made it to where in Secret Wars, the Beyonder came and he took everybody and put them on a planet to basically fight, and it ended up being one of the best crossovers like ever. It was just these guys. They were just making it to sell toys, and it ended up being this spectacular crossover that everybody loved. Well, within that, Spider-Man's suit gets ripped up, and he goes in and he finds this I don't know tube where he can get a new suit, as far as he knows, and he gets the famous black suit. And it's not until later that he realizes that it's a symbiote, it's a living thing, and like he finds out that he's been, which they kind of alluded to in Spider-Man 3, but not really. Like it goes out and fights crime while he's sleeping. His body's asleep, and the suit's out there like fighting bad guys and stuff. And
Which
it's
is
starting to drain
badass.
him. Yeah, it's starting to drain him and stuff like that. It's because it's overworking him. He can't stand it, so he gets it off of him. He goes to he does the famous bell scene from Spider-Man 3, and then I think Reed Richards ends up getting it off of him with the sonic gun or something. But
Doesn't it deplete
he
your adrenaline? Isn't that what
yeah, and it basically makes you age faster. There's a great what if where it's what if Spider-Man didn't get rid of the black suit, and it ends up being like Peter Parker goes and he's like a 80-year-old man, like, and it's only been a year or something like that, because it's just using all of his energy, because instead of getting its own. But he gets it off, and it's gone for a little while, and then Eddie Brock comes in. The symbiote finds him. They both hate Spider-Man, and hence Venom's born. But what's great is that he was one of Spider-Man's most dangerous villains, because since it had been part of Spider-Man, since it was a symbiote with Spider-Man, Venom did not trigger Spider-Man's Spidey sense. So he didn't know when Venom was coming. He couldn't duck, and use the stuff that his spider sense to fight the bad
yeah.
guys like he normally does. Like it was a really cool idea. And he was crazy, and just look at him. Then he got super popular and kind of became instead of a villain, became an anti-hero, which worked, and then became basically like a hero for a while in the 90s, and it was just all the edge was gone.
Yeah.
Then they did a lot of other cool stuff with him, but
Well,
that's
that
the Venom we know.
That's why they did Carnage. They were trying to kill. They were trying to
Yeah.
kill Venom off like they wanted to, and the writers, but the Marvel was like, we're not going to kill Venom. There's no way. Like he's too popular. So they said, okay, well let's create that, and that's why they created Carnage. And you are right. Reese was saying, hey, wasn't a black suit based off of a kid's drawing? They had a contest. I think. I think I vaguely remember a contest, but for new characters and things like that. But the kid that drew Venom was named Randy Schuler, and they only paid him $220. The editor,
Wow.
yeah, the editor James Shooter at the time. They paid him $220, but I remember that vaguely. Like, I was a kid, and I remember like there was a contest thing for and people were sending in drawings and all kinds of stuff to Marvel, and they were struggling for a little while. They were trying to do something new and exciting, and I do remember when those Secret Wars action figures came out. I had a Magneto that was my favorite. I had a Wolverine, and I think
I had an Iron Man and a Doc Ock.
yeah, I had Iron Man, and some of these, like my best friend at the time had them also. So I'm like, oh yeah, I also had Daredevil, but I think that was his. So some of them bleed together, you know what I mean? Because we're always hanging out with our action figures and stuff. But they were badass. I really wish I definitely had Wolverine and Magneto, and I wish I had those now.
Oh, for sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
and the first one I got was Iron Man. And it was like a yellow and gold Iron Man,
yeah.
or yellow and red Iron Man. It was awesome. Rajneesh is in the comments. He said, "Hey guys, glad to see the show's finally up. CB3 guy Smiley here to brighten up the day." That's right. Yeah, it's thunderstorming, and we were on early and talking for a minute. And we're like, okay, man, it's time to go live. I put on a 3-minute countdown timer to go get something to drink and take a leak and come back. And it was pouring down rain, and we had some lightning flickers, and my power kind of flickered, and it just messed up all of the audio preferences on my computer. My computer was trying to run off. It said that it was running off of my external audio equipment, but it wasn't, and so it was doing some weird stuff. Unfortunately, I had to stop the stream and start a whole new stream. But you found us. You freaking found us.
Yes.
And, yes, and I wish I had an applause button, but what I do have is yeah, that's for you guys, and for coming back. We got 5 in the chat. Yeah, man. And do you want to talk about why Eddie Brock hates Spider Man? Do you remember that deep cut?
It was
He made
a
he did a story about Sin Eater giving a false identity of Sin Eater, and then like right afterwards, Spider-Man caught the real Sin Eater, and it outed him, and then he pretty much like got outed, and he could only get like work with like tabloids and stuff, and so he's disgraced and ruined, and then he gets cancer, and then now he's like sick, and he starts working out like crazy, and then he finally goes to a church to pray and just try to. He's at an all-time low, and what is happening? What happens? He finds a symbiote. That's what happened. Or I think the symbiote found him. But anyway, there's.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't remember all that. I remember it was a lot like the movie, where but he was a much sleazier character in the comic book.
Yeah.
He wasn't like Topher Grace is just like a kind of a normal dude until he does it, fakes the picture. But
that's what's kind of funny is that like in Venom the movie, he's kind of a good guy, and he's like an investigative journalist that's trying to out bad companies and bad corporations and billionaires and stuff for being douchebags, and he's like a good guy, and everywhere he goes in the neighborhood everybody loves him, and in the comics he seems a little more of a douchebag himself,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, and one thing I'm so glad they did. Reese says, well, real quick, he says Deadpool wore the suit first, and it drove Venom insane. That must have been he said it's probably or it might be a retcon.
That was a different universe. That was like a different universe. I'm pretty sure.
Well, Yeah, or it might. I mean, it might have been a retcon too. Sometimes they'll go back and be like, "Well, you didn't see this happen." So between it going from Peter to Venom, it might have,
Yeah,
it may have jumped on Deadpool or something like that. But yeah, it wasn't in the original storyline. They probably threw that in later.
which is
But
awesome.
well, yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah. Uh, and now, yeah, now the symbiote's been on several people. It was on the Scorpion, or for a while, it was on, or it is, or was on Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's jumped around, but it was just on Eddie Brock for, I mean, 10 years or more.
Yeah,
Um,
Matt Gargan, the Scorpion. That was like that's when he was in the Sinister 12.
and
That
that
whole
was
thing.
like I kind of dug that thing because it's like the Scorpion's, I don't know, he's okay, but as a villain, but was never that great. But whenever he got the Venom symbiote, it was kind of a good fit too. Scorpion and Venom, and it made sense.
He- They
Um,
they had Scorpion in what was it? Was it Spider Man?
it was Spider
It,
Verse,
it,
Into
it-
the
yeah,
Spider Verse.
yeah. It was when, but he talks to Michael Keaton at the very end, and like as he's getting escorted
Oh,
in jail, and they have like an
oh,
interaction, and he was kind of like, he was like, yeah, I heard you know Spider Man's identity, and he goes, and Michael Keaton's like, if I knew who he was, he'd already be dead, but he was just keeping that secret, you know what I mean? So it's pretty interesting.
right.
So I was like, we're gonna have a
And I think it would make perfect sense if not that we need to go straight in. Or I knew we'd be talking about Spider-Man: No Way Home, but um, I think that Michael Keaton's going to be of the Sinister Six because they're wondering who the sixth guy is going to be. It's got to be Michael Keaton.
yeah Vulture,
In
like,
some,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you
Um,
Rajneesh says, so I guess anti-hero, well, I guess anti-venom or anti-hero
and
venom. What are you talking about? Him being an anti-hero, or are you going way down the line into anti-venom? We'll
no, I think
continue
he's
his.
talking about. Go ahead. Yeah,
It,
we'll continue his character arc in the Spider Verse when he meets Tom Holland. I would definitely think so. I wonder how they're gonna make, because he's not quite a hero. Like Eddie's more of a hero in the Venom movies, but
yeah,
Venom still wants to eat people.
but he still
So
eats bad guys. Yeah,
yeah, for sure, because Eddie makes him. So he's kind. You wouldn't call him a hero, but yeah, he's still got his anti-hero role, and I think he would when he meets Tom Holland. I wonder how they're gonna make him make them hate Peter Parker because they didn't have a reference to that. Now, and they may in Carnage. It might be something.
right,
It
right.
might not even be Tom Holland in Venom. Let There Be Carnage. But they might. I would bet that they're gonna have some reference to where it's he's like that Peter Parker or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Something where it sets him up them not liking Peter Parker.
from work, like from reporting. You think from being a journalist?
Yeah, well, and it might be that too. Maybe he reports something on Spider-Man, um, and then the multiverse happens, and it turns out not to be true at where it was true, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And he
and he,
he could very well, I mean, just like show up at the last second right before it and just see him eat somebody and just think he's a bad guy. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
not
well, yeah,
yeah. Like you walk around the corner and all of a sudden you see somebody eat somebody. You don't see the three people that he killed. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. You know, I'm gonna eat this
yeah,
guy. I can't wait, dude. It's like like. I don't know if you guys ever remembered Little Shop of Horrors, it was Rick Moranis, Steve Martin movie from
hell
back in
yeah,
the day. But Venom reminds me of the giant plant. It's like, feed me, Seymour. Which is just a ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's funny. You know what I mean? So and this kind of gives me that feeling. Uh,
that's a
Michael
great one. Go ahead.
Michael Keaton in DC and the MCU. That's insane. It is insane. And like
Yeah,
he's gonna be in Morbius too. When that comes out, and
really.
yeah, he's the Vulture's in Morbius. He was in I don't know how long,
Ooh,
but he was in
yeah.
a little clip in the trailer. So that's crazy, and I'm sure they're gonna keep him around for the Sinister Six.
Well, what's interesting too is, so they didn't have to do this, but in Venom, It might be a thread that they throw out there just to, I mean, it might lead to nowhere. But if you, at the very beginning, whenever the symbiotes come back, the astronaut that's in the ship is, they call him like Major Jameson or something like that. Well, that's J. Jonah Jameson's son in the comics. And he ends up becoming Werewolf by Night. And if they're doing Morbius and doing like a lot of these darker universe things, which hopefully they do,
Mm-hmm.
like they could end up doing something cool with that too. So it's you have a Morbius the Living Vampire versus Werewolf by Night movie, and it's basically Dracula versus the Wolfman, but the Marvel properties and them going at it. So
Would,
they might end up doing it better than the failed Universal shared universe did.
dude, and if you put Kate Beckinsale in there, and you got some like lichens versus vampires, dude, I'm in. No?
Yeah. Well, I don't know who owns that property now, but if they can do it, they'll try to do it.
Here, I got a comment for you.
The one way I would make Venom hate Spider-Man is make it so Richard Parker and Eddie Brock Sr. created Venom like in Ultimate Universe or something similar. Ooh, okay. That'd be good. Okay, yeah. So the ultimate line, Raj says, "Please no."
Yeah, I see it.
No, but the ultimate line, if you is like in the 2000s, Marvel decided to kind of like they were like, there's too much backstory for a fan to just jump in and
Right.
and be like, I'd have to read 50 years of comics just to know what the hell's going on now. So they started the ultimate line parallel to the regular Marvel line, 616, and it just kind of restarted the characters. And I really liked the ultimate line.
I'm kidding.
Really,
I'm kidding, Rajneesh. I'm kidding.
I really like the ultimate line, but it kind of they started introduce it was like doing its own thing with the characters, like, and the movies really followed it a lot. The Peter Parker in Sam Raimi, that's more the ultimate Peter Parker because he doesn't have web shooters. The webs come out of his arms, stuff like that. They kind of streamline the characters. And then they tried to introduce everybody from the original one into Ultimate, and it wasn't its own thing anymore. They're just it became a reboot. The Ultimate line, Reese says, and he's correct, the Ultimate line is the exact reason that Sam Jackson is in the MCU. Nick Fury classically was an old white dude with a stripe of gray hair and an eye patch. In the Ultimate Universe, he looked exactly like Nick, he was even based off of Nick Fury. I'm sorry, off of Sam Jackson. And it was doing its own thing, and it was doing it very well. That's why we have Marvel Zombies, is because of the Ultimate Universe. But it kind of just kept borrowing too much and not making its own way. And then it ended up, they shut it down. Well, it might have been 10 years ago by now. They'll still do stuff with it now and again. But yeah, I could see something like that. That could work really well. And they probably will do something like that, actually. Reese.
Yeah. And then and you were saying too, Flash Thompson ended up becoming Agent Venom. Huh? He went off and joined the military and got hurt and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't read any of that. I've heard it's really good though.
Yeah.
A lot of my comic knowledge is older. So
I haven't read that one either, but he basically goes to war and loses his legs, and then and they've got Venom basically gets separated from Eddie Brock, and the government ends up with it, and so they're trying to do kind of a super soldier program using the symbiote, and they got this injured Flash Thompson, and so they put him in with Venom, and then he becomes, it fixes him, and he becomes Agent Venom, which is cool because it's like a badass. He's got Venom powers, but he also looks like a super soldier kind of a dude. So.
Yeah, and I've heard like it works making Venom a hero, whereas before when they just tried to make regular Venom a hero, to me it didn't work. But this one, it's specifically that's the idea.
I think they gave him some kinds of medications and stuff that were kind of like subdue Venom's control over it, over him. You know what I mean? To where he was, and also he was strong-willed too, and it helped him control more. You know, instead of Venom driving. So, I was talking to Dustin about it earlier today, which I was like, "That's cool." I hadn't read any of those either, but I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I used to spend probably $200 a month on comics, and then I had children,
Yikes.
and they can't do that anymore. Like, so I'm slowly catching back up on the last stuff of the last 10 years or so. But yeah, it got bad for a while.
Do you know about anti-venom? How that works?
Is that the girl one?
It's Eddie
Or-
Brock becomes anti-venom. He basically, he's got cancer. Once he loses venom, he gets sick again, and then Matt Murdock gets him cleared of his charges, and basically says, "Hey, this was Venom. It wasn't him. He's not responsible for that." So he gets him out of jail, and he's free, and he's got cancer, and he ends up getting a job in a soup kitchen as a cook in a soup kitchen, and runs into Mr. Negative, who's the one who got him in there, and he has contact with Mr. Negative, and there's slight traces of the symbiote in his system, and that sparks him. And kind of the contact with Mr. Negative sparks the symbiote that's left in his system, but it's a non-sentient symbiote that's in there, and it bonds. It makes it bond with his white blood cells. So all of a sudden, it starts healing him, and he starts healing from he starts healing. It starts healing him, and he gets cured of his cancer, and then Agent Venom is nearby and senses him and thinks it's Spider-Man and wants to go out after Spider-Man. And Venom tries to jump onto Eddie Brock and merge back with his old host, and all of a sudden this white stuff starts coming out of his pores, and it's his white blood cells with the symbiote made like an anti-venom. And so all of a sudden, it knocks Venom back, and then he ends up becoming anti-venom, and so that was pretty cool. I was like, that's a neat origin, yeah. So
yeah,
it was pretty cool. And of course, he's white, instead of black and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. I was like, oh, that's a super cool story.
So I have seen that character. Okay, I see what you're saying. But yeah, I didn't know the story at all. I have seen that character. Okay.
That's the origin of that character. I was like, that's really cool, and I was looking that up because I was looking up Eddie Brock and trying to find some cool Eddie Brock, like some cool Venom comics that I hadn't read, because I've only read a few. I'm very limited on my stuff, but yeah, and anti-venom is toxic to symbiotes. I just thought it was super cool that anti-venom is like symbiote remnants mixed with white blood cells. So it's like white blood cells, yeah, white blood cells kill fight off diseases and things. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, there was a whole story arc called like Planet of the Symbiotes, and they had several of them. There was obviously, like, it was Venom and Carnage were the first ones, but then they had the character in the first Venom, Riot, was a character, and then there was a girl one. There was Reese says there's also an Agent Anti-Venom, which I didn't know. But I mean, they made a bunch of them, and that was a pretty good story arc. But it was kind of like where you could see they were jumping the shark with the symbiotes, and like Marvel kind of reeled it back in for a while, and it sounds like
how it goes. When something sells, when something sells, they're like, oh, okay, we gotta do this. You know what I mean? They're like, and then they run it into the ground a little bit. But if it's successful, they're good. You're damn right, we're gonna do that. Yeah. Yeah. And did you get into much of Carnage and stuff? Did you read up on Carnage?
Yeah. Well, no, I definitely read the Maximum Carnage storyline whenever I was younger. And the video, if Maximum Carnage on Sega is one of the best Spider-Man. Hey, Bobby.
Yeah, Reese says Scream, Toxin, Riot are the only ones he remembers, and then he says hi to Bobby. And then
Those
since we said Bobby, I gotta hit the bell again. Yeah,
Yeah, those are definitely the main ones, and there were more of them. I don't know if they were named but if they were, they weren't major characters or anything like that. But Maximum Carnage on the Sega is one of the best Spider-Man games that
really.
has been made. Oh yeah, and it was you could play as Spider-Man or Venom, and you had to go fight Carnage, and it was great. And then they ran Carnage into the ground too, um, for a while, but just the way they did him though, because Venom was kind of standard. The way he looks in the picture here, whenever next to you, uh, he's modeled and stuff like that, and that's kind of how he looks now. Originally, he was just like a big, bulky version of the black suit
Yeah.
with teeth and bigger eyes. Um, and then Carnage came out, and there's stuff everywhere. The colors are flowing, so Carnage really kind of got that going.
I love in the trailer. He's like, oh, it's a red one. He like,
Mhm.
have you seen the trailer for Venom? Let There
Yeah,
Be Carnage.
and
Yeah,
he's like, come out. No, I'm not fucking with the red one. Like,
it's pretty funny. Um, yeah. I read too that Cletus Cassidy is based on the Joker. You know that?
I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
He's a straight up psychopath in the
Yeah,
comic. Yeah.
they based that on the Joker, and then they did a crossover where Spider-Man and Batman versus Carnage and the Joker, where they team up in the Spider-Man and Batman. I've never seen that. I was like, what? I need to find that. Like, that's cool.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna go digging for
Yeah,
that
I was like,
tonight.
yeah, I was like, Batman and Spider-Man together. That's a cool crossover, and that it's neat because you see the two psychopaths, like together, and then you kind of see the subtle differences between the two. But that they straight up they made that character was based on the Joker. They wanted a psychopath, which is cool. Yeah, I think that's neat.
That is cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool. Reese asked, do we prefer the Venom symbiote Spider-Man with the full black design or the purplish one? If you're talking about the comics, I prefer the original black and white one. If you're talking about the movies, Spider-Man 3 versus Venom, the newer look fits better. I do wish it had the big, but he doesn't even have a spider on him, which kind of bugged me. But I understand. But the big white spider on the
The
front of his
one that goes
chest,
full on is
yeah,
fucking
full on, yeah,
badass. Yeah, it looks
it's
cool.
yeah.
In fact,
Um,
I'm pretty sure we had one of those action figures too. Uh, I don't think that was. I think that was my buddy Ricky's. But yeah, that was a cool suit.
yeah, and it like in the Spider-Man one, I just didn't. I didn't like the Venom very much. Well, we'll get into that in a minute in the
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3. But
Well,
the straight black and white of the original Spider-Man suit was just so perfect, and I don't know why they changed it for the movie, like to make it fit
to make
the
it modern is all it was. You know, what I mean, like
line, but
they
that was
got the
such a
computer.
classic look.
Yeah, they got computer graphics and all this stuff, and at the time, those movies were groundbreaking with the CGI. You know what I mean? So they're just flexing. Do you know about Red Goblin?
I do not. I know about Green Goblin. I know about Green Goblin 2. I
I
know
know
about
about
Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
I know about Demon Goblin, but I do not know about Red Goblin. Again, if it's newer stuff, I haven't caught up yet.
Yeah. I like Plaid Goblin. Is my favorite.
Well, he's cool,
he's
but
Scottish, you know.
Argyle Goblin would beat him. Yeah, I mean,
That's Plaid Goblin. That's the same. It's the
oh,
yeah.
yeah, Darty Master.
Oh, let's see here. So Venom was cool, man. Like I said. I got the Red Goblin is Carnage combined with Norman Osborn. Oh, I think I knew
Ooh.
that, which is awesome. Like that's really cool. Norman Osborn is pretty badass. He's a lot more badass than they make him look in the Spider-Man movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he becomes a huge player in the Marvel universe, which I doubt will happen in the movies.
Well,
Um,
I was just going to ask you that. Do you think? I mean, Willem Dafoe's badass. Like, if you're going to have somebody that could handle, that could carry a series, at least on the villain side of things, like he's pretty cool.
oh,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, like do that.
For sure. I think
Dustin was talking to me earlier about Norman Oswald's Thunderbolts and stuff too. Earlier, we were having a conversation about that earlier. But yeah, it's like I'd like to see them him do more than just being the Green Goblin. You know?
Well, and he eventually takes over the Avengers in the comics,
Mhm.
and it's like it's just such a great story arc. But again, since Marvel doesn't own him, I don't see Marvel going that way, and Sony really can't, you know. But
Yeah.
like it's kind of a shame, or maybe they'll figure out some deal. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Let's see what is.
Don't let Gwen Stacy near Norman at all. Um, they haven't introduced Gwen in the Marvel universe, have they?
Nope.
No, they have not.
And
I
they
was
haven't
surprised.
introduced Norman in the Marvel universe either.
Yeah, I don't think they can unless they get permission from Sony. And
Yeah.
if Sony had this, I don't know if Sony had this planned, but before the Marvels kind of let the multiverse thing out of the bag. But if they did, they're not gonna, give him up. And what's great too, though, is with a multiverse, Willem Dafoe could just be one version of him, and they could, go off with some other guy,
Yeah.
playing him or something like that. But watching Spider-Man 3 again, I realized that the casting of what's his name? James Harry Osborn, the son, Willem Dafoe's
Oh,
kid.
it's I've got it right here because I always keep a cheat sheet just in case. James Franco, man.
Yeah, Franco, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good casting for Willem Dafoe's son. It's not as noticeable in the other movies.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is, but since I watched this one recently, he does a very good. He looks kind of like him, and he played crazy pretty good like him, especially whenever Willem Dafoe's talking in the background. Do you want to get into Spider-Man 3 yet?
Yeah, real quick. And Rajneesh is calling us on that. He's like, hey, man, love how Spider-Man 3 is getting completely ignored for Venom combo. We all know how bad that movie is, and pretending it's not here. Yeah. Oh, I'm about to go. Like,
Wow.
Clint likes everything. I still enjoyed it, but because, I like everything. But real quick, I'll say I want to give proper props on this. Tom Hardy is badass. I like just about anything I've ever seen him do. I've enjoyed. Like, you know what I mean? There's just about it. I can't think of a bad. Even the movie where he's in a rom-com with Chris Klein and Reese Witherspoon, where they're like a CIA versus it's like a romantic comedy about two different CIA guys fighting for the same
Yep.
girl. Even that,
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
even that, like every movie, the movie where they're moonshiners and they're all brothers, that
That's a
movie's
good movie.
a great movie.
That's
Movie
good.
where Al Capone got terrible reviews, but it was good. Movie where he's twin brothers, where he plays both twins, and it's a period movie about gangsters, like, and it's a pretty badass movie. Anyway, like I said, I like just about everything I've ever seen that guy in. So, of course, it's going to be good. And I think he did a good job of taking a character. Like, they got to sell this thing. So they got this guy where it's like, hey, this is kind of a douchebag character. But we're gonna make him a main character in this movie and release it. Well, we got Tom Hardy. He's gonna carry the film, and he's a great actor, so they get him in there. And he just adds charisma to this role, and
Very
going
much
into
so.
the store, and all the neighborhood people love him. Even the homeless people, he's giving them $20, and he's running around, and he's a good guy, but he's an investigative reporter, and he just cannot help but not sneak into his girlfriend's or his fiance's email and sneak a peek at her legal things, and ends up getting in trouble because now he has to go investigate this thing because he's so morally stand up that he has to confront this guy, getting his girlfriend and himself both shit canned, and then getting himself dumped because he violated his fiance's trust, and then he goes over and he had, like I said, he had confronted Carlton Drake. Carlton Drake was really good at being a sleazebag in this movie. Carlton Drake, like he was such a douchebag and just fantastic, and also like doing like double talk, like when somebody's like, "Hey, is that right? What is right in a world that we live in where the greater
Right.
good and all this douchebag double talk." Like he was fantastic. You'll see like motivational speakers and certain people and he was a fast talker like that, and I'm not calling this guy a douchebag, but is his name Gary V? He's like a motivational marketing genius guy that talks, and he's a really fast talker. And like sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? I don't even know if he's ever gets to the point, but he's like, but people believe him and trust him and but after I listen to him talk, and sometimes I'm like, he never made a point. He made a bunch of little points and was talking the whole time. But I'm ready to go succeed. I finish his YouTube video. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go market some videos. I'm gonna update my SEO and see what I got to do. Add some tags to my videos. So and then I try to think about what he said, and I'm like, I really don't know what the fuck he was talking about. It's really funny. That's what this guy reminded me of. Is like if you had a weird Elon Musk meets that guy mixed together, and is like in a weird douchebag sort of a way because he's doing human trials on homeless people.
Right.
Anyway, so that actor did a fantastic job. The scientist Jenny Slate, who is Doris Girth, the intimidated scientist who let Eddie Brock know about she did a great job. Like casting,
she did what was right.
Casting was really good. Michelle Williams as his fiance, she was awesome. She looked good with the symbiote on her too. So anyway, so I just want to say I enjoyed that movie, and I'm excited. I'm also excited about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, because it's going to be a 90-minute movie. That just means it's going to be a action-packed roller coaster, and it's going to be good. Like they're not taking this isn't going to be Endgame where it's like a 3-hour storytelling ride. I have a feeling this is going to be just like a really badass fast roller coaster, and then we're going to be out of the theater and stoked. And so that's cool. Now let's dip into Spider-Man 3. Now that I gave all the props to them for a great Venom 1 and I touched on we got to touch on all the actors real quick that did a great job, because I didn't want to.
You're right. They really did. That casting was great.
Yeah, it was
the
great.
actors were great.
Even the store clerk, Miss Chen, was badass. Like everybody in this.
Hey, was that Danny Trejo's kid, the bad guy? I wonder if that was. I wanted to look that up.
In who? In what?
In Venom, the guy who robs Mrs. Chen.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up right now. His name is Emilio Rivera.
Oh no, okay, because he just looked like a little young Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
I was like, I wonder, man. So now, Clint, we all the comments are chomping at the bit. They want to know your take on Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
Because...
Oh my God, that's me all the time. I can't figure out where I'm half the time. I don't even. Exactly what's happening here. Reese. Okay, I don't know what any of those comments are talking about.
Because they want to hear what you have to say about Spider-Man 3.
We've got an agenda, and now it's time for Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 is a movie I go see every stinking movie like that comes out. Like comic book movies especially. But something was up in 2007, and I don't know how, but I missed the boat on that. I never saw Spider-Man 3 until a few days ago. Like somehow I never saw Spider-Man 3. And
well, it didn't get good reviews, and so you know.
I also lived through the era of pop punk going emo, and all of a sudden black hair dye and eyeliner happening, and I was on the road when all that was happening, and I don't know if there was the emo Peter, like if I saw that in the previews, was like, yeah, I'm not going to see that, because there was a time where that, like, I was like, okay, it's like the music went from being like pop punk to like fun, and then all of a sudden everyone had their bangs in their face and like a guy liner, and I was like, okay, yeah, we're not doing that. And so like I lived through that and was in the music business and ended up touring and through all that. So I might have had a mental block against wanting wanting to see emo Spider Man. So I don't know what it was, but I saw the movie. J.K. Simmons, great. Willem Dafoe flashbacks, great. You know who was really good in this is Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman. He's fantastic. He was really good. He played that. The character is a guy who's hard on his luck. You guys know, y'all have seen it, but for those who don't know, the guy's hard on his luck, and he's just trying to do what he can for his sick daughter, and he did a really good job of like a down and out guy who's just trying to do what he can for his kid. You know what I mean? Much like that Will Smith movie where he's got a sick kid and he has to rob, like, I don't remember, I never saw it, but I remember seeing the trailer. He ends up like, he's got a sick kid and he has to rob somebody or something for money, and he's like trying to work. He gets laid off, and there's a Will Smith movie that's like that, and it's like he's not a bad guy. It's just that he's desperate, you know.
Oh wait, I think you're talking about the was that the Nightmare on Elm Street music video that he did for one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets?
Who are you talking to?
Is it Will Smith?
Will Smith is a
Yeah, remember he did the song for Nightmare on Elm Street. Was that the music video for the Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, that's not.
No, it wasn't. Okay,
That yeah, right? No,
just checking.
I've probably seen Spider-Man 3
Nightmare on My Street.
like 7 times. It's on TV like every year. Yeah. Best CG in a comic book movie, the Sandman scene. It's pretty good, man. Sandman's pretty awesome. That movie though, god dang. Kristen Dunst is good. You know, there's a lot of stuff in this movie to unpack. First of all, just Peter having his head so far up his ass and becoming so full of himself to not notice what's going on with his lady. You know what I mean? Like, she's got a lot going on, and he's just kind of like, oh, he's such a goody two shoes at first, like, buck up, little camper, it's gonna be okay. And like, dude, shut up and listen to your woman. Like, and then doesn't even notice that she gets fired from her thing, and then I've been a pompous, cocky butthole has had people blowing smoke up his ass before. I can't even say it. I'm stuttering. Who's had people blowing smoke up his ass before and think I'm really cool. I've had that. I've lived that as a younger man. And it's funny, when like 20 years ago, I was a different guy than I am now. You know what I mean? But when I was 25, oh man, I owned the world. The world was my oyster, and people would tell me how great I was, and I believed them all. And I could see, and I'm watching Peter Parker, and I'm like, you dipshit, dude, you are just completely screwing up, man. And I could see it, and it was really annoying me. So yeah, and then all of a sudden it turns into The Mask with Jim Carrey, you know, like when he's dance things, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What am I watching here? When he goes into the dance routine in the club with Gwen Stacy, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. I almost turned it off, and I go, fuck, I have to keep watching this because of Versus Tuesday. I need to know what I'm talking about. But I was like watching that, and I was like, how did this happen? How did this happen? Like, how did they do this? Like, it could have been okay. It could, but like, once he's walking down the street like this, like,
yeah,
you know, and all that, and I'm like, dude, no, come on. I'm like, really, it really messed me up. I could not believe it. And then you've got freaking Harry's butler, out of the blue, just saying, oh, by the way, I've seen a lot of things, and Spider-Man didn't kill your dad. Where the fuck have you been this whole time, dude? Like, you just randomly, I just overheard Spider-Man, needed your help. And I just thought I'd let you know. Maybe you should forgive him, because he didn't do anything. I'm like, how big was the shoehorn to shoehorn that little thing to make the movie work? Like, how can we get?
Harry's like, hey, Butler, remember when I said don't bug me with every detail?
That's
Okay,
not
this
what
is
I
one of the
meant.
details. Yeah,
Like how do we make? What can we do? How can we get Harry Osborn to help Spider-Man? I don't know. Just have the Butler say, "Hey, dude, it wasn't him." That's pretty much what they did. And then, God,
and they could have had. It
gives me an ice cream headache.
Norman Osborn probably had 50 secret cameras in his lab, or what? Like, they could have had him like click on a video that showed it. Like, oh my God, it could have been much easier to make that happen.
Or even have
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Even have the Butler show him a video. I just thought you should see this, and then
Your
play
dad
that
automatically
and
archived these. Yeah.
And then he sees it and he's like, "Oh shit!" But just like, "Hey, by the way, I see a lot of things around here. I don't say anything because I'm just a butler, but I thought you should know." I'm like,
I was gonna tell you, but I've been too busy buttling for the last 10 years.
yeah, what do butlers do? They buttle. Oh man, it was terrible. And then the kiss part, the upside down kiss. I'm like, how could somebody's head be so up his ass to go there? Like, oh, it's fine. I'm Spider-Man. It's cool. You're my number one over there, but this is gonna be great. And I was like, dude, you have no idea. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
Even
if she was in a good movie, even if she was a star, if she hadn't just lost her job, that would have just been bad all around.
Still, yeah, it's like, I'm a dude that's like, if I'm dating somebody and they're like, oh yeah, calla lilies are my favorite flower, every time I ever see calla lilies for the rest of my life, I associate them with that person. I remember little things like that. And a special upside down kiss in the rain, like, you don't share that with other people. That's y'all's thing.
Fucking Spider-Man.
Jeez.
And just like you remember the calla lilies thing, the Butler remembers that Spider-Man didn't kill his dad.
Out of the blue. Now, I did like the cameo from Bruce Campbell. That was awesome. It was stupid. But it was fun. You know what I mean?
Great.
Like,
yeah,
it was cool.
It was a blast.
Even there, I'm like, dude, come on. The whole fucking movie was a series of disappointments. The only thing that wasn't disappointing was Thomas Hayden Church doing Sandman. That I like.
Well,
ringing the bell, like the symbiote hitching a ride on his scooter. I'm like, okay. And
yeah.
Let's go to the comments, see if anybody. Risa says dancing stuff because it amplifies Peter's confidence. He's already an awkward person, so his dancing is going to be awkward.
Fair enough. So he's saying it was kind of character driven.
Yeah, it exaggerates lameness. You are right. It's like it's an exaggeration, and his dance moves are terrible. So they're exaggerated, terrible dance moves. And him being a cool guy with all the confidence in the world, since he's lame, I guess it would exaggerate that. You're not wrong about that. So that's good. Way to fix that in my mind now. The Butler knows Bruce Campbell is Mysterio.
I wish. I'm waiting for that movie.
Yeah. The other thing, like speaking of exaggerating stuff, is like when he gets pissed because of the police chief tells him who his uncle's real killer is. And he's like, what? And he freaks out because he's got the suit on, and so he's a little bit exaggerated. Yells at the cop, and then yells at the super at the apartment building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, freaking door! Why don't you fix the door? Then you'll,
you'll get your rent.
Yeah. Then that guy gets his feelings hurt, and the daughter is like, that was messed up. Yeah, I don't know. I was
It's
like,
like, not really. Fix his fucking door. Like,
but Tobey Maguire being a dick just doesn't work. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he's just like, Valerie, hey, Dustin is because of the extreme weather, Dustin chose not to drive this far and is making sure everything's cool with his fam. So that's where Dustin is.
Yeah, it's storming up there with Clint, pretty bad. So
Yeah. It's a
better safe than
turd
sorry.
floater. Yeah, so but yeah, so just seeing Tobey Maguire be a dick is really awkward for me. I'm just like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Yeah.
Now he and hello, Valerie.
Yeah.
He, like he can do it, but not in the way. I don't know. Not it just. Yeah, I agree. That
It
didn't
was
necessarily work. And then especially, but even the landlord didn't buy it because he was like, "Nah, he's a good boy. He's got something going on." Like the
he's
landlord
a
was like,
good
"Yeah,
kid.
whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Peter's door gets fixed though after he takes the symbiote off.
I didn't notice that. That's a
Uh,
good symbolism point. I didn't notice that.
I didn't either.
Um,
But seeing him get a whole bunch of like, hey, why don't you go bake me some of those cookies? You know what I mean? I was like, dude, this is so cheeseball.
yeah.
That whole thing was so cheeseball.
Swayze came to say hi, everybody.
Hey, Swayze. I'm crazy for Swayze.
All right, now he doesn't want to play. All right.
now Topher Grace playing Eddie Brock, which compared to Tom Hardy, seemed like a really lame Eddie Brock because he was kind of a schmarmy dude. You know what I mean? Like
even before Tom Hardy played him at like. So I saw this in theaters. I felt a lot of the way that you feel. Definitely when I saw it in theaters, I've grown to appreciate it a lot more, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But even then and even now, like that was just a bad choice. Raimi didn't want. It was just really. We talked about casting and stuff.
Yeah,
that was just bad casting. Raimi didn't want Venom in the film. Sony kind of forced Venom in the film. That's some of the production stuff, and you can see the. You were talking about how great Sandman was, and I agree. I think everybody kind of agrees with that.
yeah.
Like that was the film that Sam Raimi wanted to make. Apparently, the Vulture was going to be in and out of it as well at the beginning and the end, and they were already setting up Spider-Man 4 with the Vulture. But the Sandman was going to be the major plot point, the major villain, and Sony was like, nope, we're good. We got to get, and they apparently forced Gwen Stacy in there too. Yes, the butler knows it was, yes, the butler and everybody except Harry. Everybody except Harry knows.
The butler knows.
But yeah, even then, and I've tried to square it in my brain because I like the movie more now after watching it a few times. But that was just a bad choice. Topher Grace might be a better actor. He was still kind of playing that 70s show kid.
Yeah.
He might have more range. I'm not saying he doesn't, but in this film it didn't show, and it was right after that. And maybe that's an associate. Maybe he's a spectacular guy, and I have an association in my brain that I can't get rid of. I'll admit that as well. But regardless, it didn't work, and it hasn't worked. Tom Hardy made it work, but that was just a bad choice.
But it's a different character. He's playing a good guy, and like this other guy's, he's pretty schmarmy. You know what I mean? Like he's like
yeah.
And then lying to trying to make Spider-Man look bad to get the job and all that. So which kind of made me think about stuff too a little bit, where I'm like thinking about how many journalists in real life do that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I've got an audience that wants to hear this. I'm gonna fabricate something. You know what I mean? Like, and
nowadays, that's like par for the course nowadays.
I mean, whether it's like I mean, there's so many independent outlets on things, but like, hey, I'm gonna phrase this way so that it sounds like this. But even so, like with you've got I mean anything from like it doesn't matter if we're talking about superhero fan groups. Like if you're trying to get clicks, you could
Mhm.
maybe like okay, I'm gonna make this thing up about Star Wars just to get
Yeah.
clicks. You know what I mean? Uh I just it just made me think about that. I was like, back then, the internet and the media and stuff wasn't as effed up as it is now. So I don't feel like he was necessarily trying to put that thought into the movie, but it actually made me think
No.
about that. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that's the thing that somebody could be like, "Is there going to be a Marvel and Star Wars crossover? Disney owns them both. We've got evidence of blah." And it could be like, what's his name, Favreau saying, "Oh, I'd love to do a Marvel movie," and then, "Oh, I'd
Yeah.
love to do a Star Wars movie," and then they're like, like he said them both, blah blah blah, like they
Ke-
kind of lie without lying,
Kevin
or something like
Kevin
that.
Feige's doing a Star Wars movie.
There
Clear
you go. Oh, it's happening. There you go.
Clearly,
We
we're
got
gonna
news for
get
you.
Wolverine. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
with
Wolverine's gonna fight Darth
with
Vader.
with
Like it's coming.
lightsaber claws. It's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. And people would watch it. Like we could get out there and lie all we want. We don't. We'll tell you when we're speculating. We speculate a lot. We'll tell you straight up. This is just coming out of my ass. This is what I'm thinking. Reese says, I mean, Eddie Brock is in one of the previous Spider-Man films, played by someone who looks more like Eddie Brock. That's hmm. I mean, I guess you're right because yeah, Eddie Brock didn't get big until the end. If you're saying that Topher Grace, Eddie Brock is in one of the previous Spider-Man films, played by someone who looks more like Eddie Brock. So Reese, clarify that for me. Are you saying Tom Hardy or Topher Grace looks more like Eddie Brock? But
Yeah.
with Spider-Man 3, so I really did not like this film when I first saw it. I thought it was a mess. I mean, it still is a mess. Don't get me wrong.
So now do you like
But
it? Now do you like
I,
it?
I appreciate it more. And honestly, on this last viewing, I did like it, but I knew what was coming. And here, like you can see, like you were saying, the good points are so good. Like the Sandman stuff. I think uh, what you're saying about Peter being such a dick and such an asshole and such a I think Raimi did that was purposeful. Raimi did that on
Mhm.
purpose. Because he still is a young man, let's be honest, who's never been popular with girls. Uh, he was lucky to get Mary Jane, and all of a sudden, like he's getting some attention. He makes some stupid mistakes. He he's always like Spider-Man was hated, like they didn't, and then all of a sudden he gained their trust in Spider-Man 2. Like he's kind of a hero now. Like he's getting like it he is being a dick about it, but that's what sucks. He deserves like his moment in the sun, but at the same time, he's just uh Eddie Brock appears in Spider-Man 1 or 2. Oh, you're right. Yeah,
I'm gonna
actually I
look it
do.
up right
I
now.
kind of yeah, he that's true. Um he does. I do remember that. He does appear. Um but like he deserves this stuff, but he's just not handling it correctly. And uh like I said, the original script was going to be like and that's the thing at the beginning of the movie, like Sandman's just kind of running from the cops. We don't like know necessarily what happened or whatever, but apparently the Vulture in the original script breaks him out. He and the Vulture break out of prison, and then the Vulture kind of takes off. The Sandman movie takes over, and then at the end the Vulture comes back, and then that leads into Spider-Man 4, which never happened, of course. But like seeing the human side of all this stuff, like and you know it's one of those things like what Sam Raimi was going for is heroes can act like they're not heroes, and villains can not really be villains, that kind of thing. Like we're all humans here. We're a bunch of bald apes bumping around into each other trying to figure this shit out and do what's best for us and our family. Um, and he was trying to show that Spider-Man or heroes are fallible and villains aren't that bad, and like that's still that piece, that chunk is still there. And then you got the Venom stuff that kicks in, and man, it's just not done well. Like it's
Yeah.
not as it's not as bothersome as when I first saw it. Um, and some people said that he specifically, I was reading online whenever I was digging around, specifically he didn't like the character Venom. That's not necessarily true. He's just an older guy and he remembers the older villain. That's why he wanted them in there. He just, I mean, maybe he didn't like Venom, but he just mainly wasn't familiar with him as much. Um, and so they said that he purposefully made the Venom character like lame because he didn't like him. I don't believe that's true at all. I think that he didn't understand the character because he didn't grow up with him, and then also at the same time, he didn't want to do it, so he did the best that he could with it while trying to cram it in. Like that could have been Spider-Man 4. Like I don't know why, like Sony shoving it down his throat. You know, they had already planned a fourth one until this one got such bad reviews, and I don't know about the box office. Or actually, I do know it's like the number one box office Spider-Man, at least of the time. I don't know about overall.
What is?
Um, Spider-Man 3, yeah.
Well,
I don't know if it may have the newer ones may have beaten it out, but and No Way Home is definitely going to beat it. But of the original trilogy, Spider-Man 3 got the most box office because of Venom. So Sony was right. They got their money, but we didn't get a good movie, you know. But I really do appreciate it more. But here's the point too. Like after several viewings, digging and watching it and learning to appreciate those things. Like that's awesome that I got that or I got to that point. And Clint, one day you'll get there, man. You will get to appreciate Spider-Man 3 for what it really is.
I don't know, dude. A big pile of dog shit.
But for a like Blade Runner or like a deep thought movie or an artistic, intelligent film, okay, that's kind of you want repeat viewings to get more depth and stuff like that. But for a Spider-Man movie, you don't want that. You know, you don't need that.
Yeah, I don't need rocket science. It was just like when you. There's the Eddie Brock that we were talking about.
Yeah, who's that other? Yeah, that guy definitely looks like Eddie Brock.
Yeah,
And Tom Hardy definitely looks more like Eddie Brock. Topher Grace is just the anomaly here, but I don't know who that guy is. But yeah, he would have been a good one.
you can't see it, but he's in the he's right next to J.K. Simmons playing J. Jonah Jameson is right next to him, and it's a little clip out of that's a shot out of the movie. I don't know if that's one or two though, but anyway, that's what I found. But yeah, this is the guy that Reese was talking about, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is either, but I remember whenever I was watching one of them, I was like, "Oh shit, that's Eddie Brock!" Like you know, and
Have you seen the Spider-Man 3 Snyder cut?
I don't know. Editors, I don't know. I don't know if I have. The one that I have is probably a theatrical release. But I don't know. Is that it? Where would we get that? Is that
it's got an extra hour of Peter Parker dancing.
Oh, well, that's all I need.
Yeah, they do Lambada for a little while. Yeah, which I mean, who doesn't want to see Bryce Dallas Howard doing Lambada with
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, the dancing scene didn't mind me as much, bother me as well. I mean, a lot of it didn't bother me as much. But again, like I said, I've seen it. Reese, I think it was Reese was saying they watch it every year.
It was so campy. When he's walking down the street and looking over, it was so campy, dude. It's so campy. And I know it's time. It's time. I was telling myself, I was like, dude, that's about. I mean, early 2000s were some campy times. You know what I mean? There was a lot of corny stuff. You know,
if you're familiar with Sam Raimi's other films, like he's a very campy director.
Yeah.
Like he's a horror director, but a lot of that is campy as well. And normally he pulls it off, but that's what I mean. I think that he had these ideas, and just so much was thrown in there. The editor's cut has deleted scenes and reshovels stuff to make more sense. I haven't. That's probably not the one that I've seen, but I definitely would like to check that out. And I heard
if there's
Go ahead.
I heard another somebody else say this, but like it's completely true. It's like yes, Sam Raimi they made him put extra stuff that he didn't particularly want in the movie. That doesn't mean you got to make a shitty movie. You know what I mean? Like make it good. Like
No, but if they're saying so, that's what I mean. He basically had a whole movie, like a Sandman movie, planned, uh, with the Vulture being in there, for a little bit, and then they're like, "No, you got to stick Venom in here,"
yeah,
and
shoehorn
so
him
he has
in,
to
but
put a,
but
but and they're like I said, they were already planning a Spider-Man 4, so they could have been like introduce Venom. He could have been like, well, let's introduce Venom, and then he can get his own movie in Spider-Man 4, which makes way fucking more sense for
yeah.
like Venom, you know, or something like that. But Sony was like, nope, nope, we're going for the big money, like, and then they forced him to put Gwen Stacy in. Like he didn't want to do that yet either. Like I think he was planning for like honestly, I
If you
think Sam Raimi
i- i-
he'd probably still be making Spider-Man movies right now if they didn't fuck him over.
yeah,
Like
if you take Gwen Stacy out and take Venom out, it's actually a pretty good movie. Because
apparently there's a fan edit. There's a
because
fan edit that takes Venom out completely and it's like really good.
yeah, that sounds awesome. And then you also you get rid of the upside down kiss with Gwen Stacy, so that's an annoying thing that bothered me. And that
Yeah, yeah.
then it's pretty good. Then it's basically you have Spider-Man fighting somebody that he can't defeat because pretty much
Yeah.
you get rid of
And
the murder because basically Spider-Man murdered Sandman. He didn't succeed, but he thought he did. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he thought he killed
Yeah.
him, and he felt like yeah, he felt satisfaction that he got revenge. And I'm like, that's not like Spider-Man, and I guess that's the point is that the suit changed him. But
No,
but
but I think that was part of the original thing, like I said, showing like the non-heroic aspects of a hero and the non-villainous aspects of the villain. I think that was part of his original film. Like
but
I don't know this to be true,
you wouldn't have the
but
symbiote if you didn't have a, you know what I mean. So if you take Venom out of this movie, then he wouldn't. Well, no, but that's the deal. He would probably be wrestling with while he's fighting him, uh, the revenge aspect of his loss of his uncle, making him want to do something, but then him not being a douchebag, like stopping him. You know what I mean? He'd be struggling with that. That is a good conflict. You know?
and I really liked as I mean talking about how like the parts of the movie that are good that you could see like how they showed how Peter thinks about it. Like remember whenever it's black and white and he sees Uncle Ben laying on the ground and Thomas Hayden Church just like shoots him in cold blood, and then how it really happened, like uh his buddy just came up and bumped him and he accidentally shot his uncle. That's what I mean, because that's how you would think. You're like, this guy's got to be all evil, this scumbag,
Yeah.
killed my uncle, like, and like showing those two, like that was just a really good way of showing like, hey, man, wish it wasn't true, but shit just happens in this life, and
Yeah, and
you
in
know, and it cuts to black and white, and it's kind of saying not everything is just black and white, not every, we see the world in black and white, but we live in shades of gray.
and then he gives him an "I forgive you," and then he pieces out. And
Yep.
I was asking this the other day on small screen. I'm like, do you think he's gonna come back in the No Way Home movie and maybe save Peter because he forgave him? And like there's some because there's a shot where there's electricity that's
Mm-hmm.
it's electro, and then you see sand blow through it. So it's like, hey, is he gonna be like Electro's like, all right, I'm gonna mess you up, Bzzz, and then Sandman's like, no, dude, I killed his uncle, but he forgave me. You don't mess with my friend,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
or he's just not. He's like, I'm not a bad dude. Like he even
yeah.
tells his daughter, like, I'm not a bad guy. Like I'm just, I had
Bye,
a bad
Valerie.
way. Or
Valerie is peacing out. She just wanted to say, hey,
sweet dreams. Thanks for watching, guys. Or
yeah.
Valerie.
Uh,
But so rewatch it every year. Pick a day and rewatch Spider-Man 3. The editor's cut has a scene of Sandman hiding in a sandcastle to make his daughter happy, and that's what I mean. Apparently, I hadn't read that. That's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
But there were a lot more scenes of Sandman, like humanistically, in the original. I don't know about cut, but definitely in the script. I didn't read the whole script, but like of him, it was basically a movie about him, and it was very much to show the like what is you're not what is human. That's a Blade Runner thing, but um, you know what what is a hero, what is a villain,
Yeah.
where's the line. And that's the thing, Peter being that jerk off, and he's a young man and getting all this attention. He's still being shitty, but you can kind of understand, like you said, a young man would act that way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not do the upside down kiss, but like a young man would
No,
would act the way he's
I
acting.
would totally have
Yeah.
done that. I'm a complete douchebag. Like if when I was 25, yes, if the entire city was having a parade in my honor, and I have this young, good-looking classmate of mine who is beautiful, Bryce Dallas Howard. She's hot. She's stunningly beautiful. I've always loved her. And so if she's my classmate, yeah, I would. If I was Spider-Man, I would totally do that.
Exactly.
I'd be like, hey,
Like,
you
I
know,
love Mary Jane, but this is the one I can
I-
get away with this one.
I
Like,
love Mary Jane. I'm putting on a show for the public, and I rescued this girl. This will make good headlines. And I help her with her homework. And I love Mary Jane, but I've always wondered about this one. You know what I mean? Like I could totally see that. And a total douchey ego thing to do. Like, oh, that's not Peter Parker. That's Spider-Man. I'm like, no, dude, you're the same guy. And
exactly. Yeah.
also when you kissed MJ, you were Spider-Man. You weren't Peter Parker. So
And I will say that that's a damn good point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time they kissed he was Spider-Man. I will say that honestly, before, like, I didn't. Kirsten Dunst is obviously an attractive woman, but I didn't get the huge draw for her. But in this movie, she looks spectacular with the long red hair.
Oh, she's
and,
beautiful.
Stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it just really worked for her in this film. But yeah, showing him going down a wrong path and Sandman trying to pull his ass out of the wrong path, as I mean that's the core movie that Raimi wanted. And then we got Topher Grace.
Bryce Dallas Howard. I love her. I remember watching the behind the scenes Mandalorian stuff where it talk with. Have you watched that? There's
I've seen half of the first season, but my son wants to watch it with me, and yet every time I say let's put it on, he says no. So I have not finished it yet.
Oh, dude. Well, not just
he's into it, and he's into it enough to want to watch it. But anytime I want to watch it,
damn it,
he doesn't
Curtis,
want me to watch it without him either.
You got to get on that, dude. It's really good. But besides that, there's a show.
It is really good. Yeah.
There's a show called Gallery. That is the behind the scenes, the making of how they make all these films, and I might like the Gallery show more than I like maybe more than I like the actual show. It's fascinating how they do this stuff. And the volume is a big. Do you know about that? It's a place they made basically. Back in the old days, they used to paint backdrops and all this stuff for it. Well, now they have a giant thing made up of a series of hundreds of LCD TVs. Basically, they're screens and they're like super high def, and they have them all linked together. And they figured this out when they were doing the Jungle Book. On how to use video game engines and do things to where they can move stuff around and the camera follows it and then they made the whole background, and they were doing it with the green screen and with camera, and they figured out cool ways to make this stuff. But then they made a giant screen that goes over and around the back, and it's all TVs, and they have it linked together to where they can just draw anything they want, and poof, you're in Tatooine. Poof, you're on the Death Star. And so it's they can do anything they want. So it's like, and it looks better than green screen. The thing that's crazy about it is like green screen can look fake. You know what I mean? Like what's crazy about this is like if you're in the desert, these LCDs are putting up enough light to look like you're in the desert and the sun and all these, that the way the sun naturally drops down on you looks like the sun is shining, because the sun is shining from right over there. And so there's like the lighting is completely different. They don't have to figure out how to get the light angles just right and this and that. The background actually provides real light that looks like you're in that setting. So it's pretty freaking awesome. Like if you watch this behind the scenes, it's fucking fascinating.
Is it on Disney Plus? Is that
it's on Disney Plus? It's called Gallery, and they do it for both seasons. It's super cool. They also talk about all of the different directors involved in the show, and they sit down and just go over different things. And Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, all these different people, and they have like roundtable discussions on how they're going to do things or how they did things. And it's just really. I mean, I know you're a Star Wars fan. We've been talking about Marvel and Spider-Verse, but like. We're both.
That's just because that's what's new. There's a new Star Wars show or movie coming out, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's fascinating, And Disney owns that. It makes me wonder if like they're going to use that stuff. Like, I wondered, and I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But like, okay, we're not. Disney owns this thing, so it's like, it's called The Volume. So I'm like, hey, we're not doing any Star Wars today. Cool. Can we go in and film Loki for for a few days and have the sets and all that drawn out and ready to go, and then they jump in there like, cool, we're gonna borrow your set. It's a virtual set is basically what it is. It's so cool. And then if they have a thing where it's like, okay, we have a ship that we're all gonna be on. You could have a pirate ship, right? And the back, it all looks like the ocean and stuff, and they might put a real ship in front of it and then do the acting from there. But it's just super cool. But they've actually got like, so okay, the people are on the ship right here, and the camera's right here, and the background is over here, and they have it like, if the camera moves to get this angle to look up there, the way it's done, like the background moves with it, like the photo, like the image. So it's just really cool. It's really interactive and neat.
So now the enclosure for Kong and versus Kong doesn't seem that out there, does it?
No.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. But you know how when you look around in a video game, like it's like, okay, yeah, we're looking over there, and then it kind of does that with the screen, like with the camera. They can film from different angles and move the camera, and it moves with. It moves with the image moves with it.
That's really cool.
Super neat. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole.
No, that's awesome.
But yeah, you go watch it. It's called Gallery. Yeah, man, I'm very excited, man. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday at 4 p.m. I'm going to see Venom. I'm on it.
I'm gonna go see it Saturday, probably around lunchtime with my son. So heads up, guys. Next week, we'll let you know what we're doing. It's going to be Halloween-y stuff because it's going to be the first week in October. But we will be probably talking Venom spoilers. So
yeah,
just a heads up on that. I mean, like we could say we're not, but it's going to come out. We'll try to give you a heads up once we do. But yeah, we're both going to go see it. We'll see if we can get Dustin to go see it and get him back in here so we can all talk about it. And Clink, if you're listening, I really think you should check it out. It was a blast. The first one, if you haven't seen it yet. And if you happen to see the second one, let us know.
Yeah. And hey, Curtis, why can't witches get pregnant?
Why can't witches get pregnant?
Yeah. Because their husbands.
Well, if you're talking.
Because their husbands have Halloweenies.
Hey-oh!
Yeah.
It's fucking gay. It is fucking gay.
Oh, cool. Reese75 DM'd Clint
great.
with the difference between Spider-Man 3 and editor's cut differences. Cool.
And send or where you can see the editor's cut, because that's I mean I haven't seen a special edition version of it with the editor's cut. So if it's somewhere online, or actually if it's special edition DVD, I'd prefer to buy it. I'm a physical media guy, but I'll definitely check it out if it's like if you got to find it somewhere. But I just don't know where to find it. I guess I could Google it. Sorry, I'm being lazy here, Reese. Sorry.
I got a.
Um,
Oh, yeah. We got. What's the different? I'm gonna send this to you right now, Curtis.
yes, please do. So are you more? Let me ask you this, Clint.
What you got?
If in No Way Home.
Thanks, Reese.
3.1.
I
Okay.
appreciate that, dude.
Yes,
I
that's
just
great. I'm gonna definitely try and get that. In No Way Home, are you more excited to see Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire?
I'm honestly, I like Andrew Garfield as an actor. I think he's good. I didn't like him as Peter Parker. He was not Peter Parker. Like Tobey Maguire is corny and like a kind of a dork. You know what I mean? In the way he plays Peter Parker. And Peter Parker's supposed to be that way. He's supposed to be a little bit of a dork.
Right.
Now, when you're making him trying to look
especially
cool,
early on,
it rubbed me the wrong way. But like when he's just normal, good guy, it's almost like Clark Kent. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing as Clark Kent, and I think Tobey Maguire plays him fantastic. Like I think he's great. Now, Andrew Garfield comes off a little bit more like he's wearing the Venom suit already to me. You know what I mean? He's
that's a good way of pointing
you
it.
know what I mean? He's like already a cool guy, and like his teenage portrayal, he looked like a cool guy that was trying to be a nerd, and I'm like, no, you need to just have a nerd, and I think Tobey Maguire hit that on the head, and so yeah, I just didn't believe to Andrew Garfield. I think he's awesome, man. He's been in some other movies where he's a fantastic actor, but
I haven't seen him in anything else.
I can't think of them. There's an army movie where he's a pacifist, and I just can't think of the name of the movie.
Major Payne?
Come on, dude.
Was it?
Garfield. War movie. I'm just having a brain fart right now, but it's Hacksaw Ridge, based on a true story.
Oh, I have heard that's good.
Yeah, it's directed by Mel Gibson, who is a fantastic director when he's not drunk opening his mouth. He is a great filmmaker.
Yeah, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
and this is based on a true story. And this guy that goes off to war, and he's a pacifist, and he won't even handle the gun. He doesn't want to carry a gun, and they make him a medic. So he basically is running around out in the battlefield not armed, and they're like first they're rolling their eyes at him like he's a wuss because he's
idiot.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to fight and use it. But he's like the bravest, most tenacious not quitter ever, and he rescues like more people than anybody, and he's like bringing back, just dragging bodies, and like practically superhuman feats of bravery in a real battlefield unarmed, to where all of a sudden by the end of it, it's like, oh, he's not, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are like, well, here, I'll read the synopsis. The true story of Desmond T. Doss, Andrew Garfield, who won the Congressional Medal of Honor despite refusing to bear arms during World War II on religious grounds. Doss was drafted and ostracized by fellow soldiers for his pacifist stance, but went on to earn respect and adoration for his bravery, selflessness, and compassion. After he risked his life without firing a shot, he saved 75 men in the Battle of Okinawa. So, yeah, it's supposed to be. I haven't even seen the movie. I've seen the trailer and read and seen reviews on it, and it's supposed to be a fantastic movie. And I've seen him. I've seen him in other movies too that he's really good, but this is the one that I keep. It's almost like your son not letting you watch Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
time I'm about to watch that movie, something pops up and I don't get to watch it.
Well, so I felt he Tobey Maguire was definitely a better Peter Parker, and to me he's my Spider Man. Like I was saying, I grew up with he's my Spider Man. Tom Holland's probably the best, I'll admit, um, but like Tobey Maguire was a better Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was yeah, I agree. Like I don't want to say terrible, but I kind of do want to say terrible Peter Parker, and it might not have been his fault. It may have been the director and the writers and stuff. The portrayal of Peter Parker, he was not. Yeah, he just wasn't like a
It just
nerd in
wasn't
those
right.
films.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the good thing in the comics. Like whenever he was Spider Man, he was wisecracking and he had the mask on, so he was more open with himself. So Andrew Garfield as Spider Man was much more of the comic booky Spider Man.
Yeah.
But again, and then Tom Holland's kind of got that perfect mix. Like,
Yeah.
and plus he's 35 or something, and it looks like he's 12, so
Yeah.
that always helps.
And he's supposed to be zinging people like with one-liners and zings.
exactly.
Yeah, when he's Spider-Man, and it's awesome. I like Tom Holland also. I think he's good. Like he's good, and
It
the
does bother me that our last two Spider-Man have been Brits. But I'll save that conversation for Edward.
for Edward, yeah. The other thing too is man, that era of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man with Garfield. You got Electro is like blue and super corny, and then you got like Rhino is Paul Giamatti, like it's super corny, dude. Like I didn't believe any of it, and it's like and here's the deal, that Sam Raimi thing, emo emo Spider-Man and all that, they were campy but they were cool, and I feel like taking the Venom stuff out of Spider-Man 3 makes it actually a pretty legit, almost modernized Marvel movie, to where back then they were still figuring out how to do comic book movies well. You know what I mean? I think I think like, so the Spider-Mans really were game changers. I feel like X-Men coming in and like being like very serious about it, about this, like we're like the storytelling's different. It's like you're not going to go into bust into a dance thing or have some campy any kind of like boonk like or a guy getting bonked in the head and seeing stars or birds floating around his head, you know what I mean, like cartoony kind of shit. X-Men came along and got rid of all that. They were like, no, this is basically, we're treating this like real sci-fi, not what I mean, to where some of the stuff, that's what bothered me about Spider-Man 3, is that it was a little bit cartoony, and that's what I like about modern comic book movies. They treat it like it's real, like not like it's a cartoon.
But yeah, you're right. And that's but I miss some of the camp too, because they were definitely, like, comic books were campy. Um, but like, and at the same time, like when, and I know like X-Men specifically didn't do it, like didn't put them in their suit. But they made it work for the movie. They gave them their new movie suits and stuff like that. But didn't put them in their costumes and stuff to kind of get away from that and make it more realistic. Marvel has figured out a way to put them in their suits and make it look like just not even ridiculous. Like it's like, oh, here's some grown men running around in suits, and it looks perfectly fine. Like they've found this perfect mix. At first, we definitely didn't. They didn't have that figured out. Well, the Batmans did, of course.
Yeah.
But like the X-Men, I X-Men until probably about the end, whenever like Magneto was trying to make people mutants or something like that, and then the second one I like better. But like for me, it really hit with Spider-Man. Like those were the ones that really got me. And there's tons of Daredevil. I didn't mind that much, and I probably need to rewatch that one. We could go through a whole thing where we do non-Marvel Marvel movies and have a whole year's worth of shows. Like,
Oh yeah.
like,
Were
like,
you talking about
because
like
some of
going through all the Daredevil?
well, that's Fox. I mean, well, technically Fox, but they weren't made by Marvel. Like,
Are you
we could talk
talking
about
about
the X,
the Daredevil series? Or are you talking about the Ben Affleck Daredevil?
the Ben Affleck movie, yeah.
Oh,
But that's what I mean. So that one came next. Then there were the Ghost Riders, and stuff like that. That aren't Marvel properties anymore. Or Hulk, not Incredible Hulk, which technically
you talking about the
is or isn't
Eric Banya?
the Eric Bana one, yeah.
Yeah.
And where Nick Nolte's his dad and stuff like that. Which I've learned to appreciate that one more. But that one was just out of the box, like camp.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Daredevil versus Daredevil, says Reese.
we
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 could
could
also do
absolutely
Hulk
well,
versus Hulk. Do both for the Hulk
and
movies.
yeah, and and then Punisher. There's two Punisher movies. I love the Thomas Jane one. I really I think it's spectacular. Then there's Warzone, and then there's a Punisher series, which I apparently everybody loves, and I never got around to watching it with the Walking Dead guy. Um, so that's what I mean. They're not canon Marvel properties and stuff like that. We could go through and dig through those for a while too. Not during Halloween, but
Yeah, there's
you're not. Yeah.
yeah, there's a bunch. Dude, speaking of Halloween, I might have to go to Houston to go check out my brother's haunted house and have you meet me up there. It's
For
cool.
sure.
I'll send you some links to some of the videos, some of the stuff my brother's posting on the Facebook. It looks cool. They got some they're in full swing so right now.
Hells yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds awesome, man.
I mean, they're spitting fire, juggling knives, and knife throwing, and clowns, and it's crazy. And some of the effects,
Yeah.
makeup, and stuff. I saw something that popped up on the stories on Facebook, and I was like, it looks like a real deal. It was like a real life, like it looked like movie makeup. It was crazy. Like
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
black in the mouth, like all of the mouth inside coated with like black paint, and like eyes. It was nuts. I gotta go find it. Anyway, I'm not even making sense, but it was crazy looking. I was like, dude, these people are going crazy with the effects makeup. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the best rated ones in Texas, if not the best. I think
It's
it
the
usually
best.
is one of
Yeah.
the best. Yeah, the best. Um, Sam Elliott is. Oh, Sam Elliott is an Eric Bana's Hulk. Wait, who is he though? Damn it.
Dude, that's
Let me think. He plays Thunderbolt. Yeah, he plays Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah, he is Sam Elliott. Whoa, good call there, Reese. Uh, we could go the Blade trilogy. We could get that's a non-Marvel movie. Uh, the original My Little Pony is a non-Marvel movie. We could rewatch that one.
what about the original Howard the Duck?
I own it on DVD. We could definitely rewatch that one.
Yeah.
Where like you're as a young man, you're like, you know what, bestiality might be okay because
I'll never say
what's her
that.
name?
Those words will never be said.
She's like getting into bed with the duck, and you're like, "Go for it, duck. Let's go."
I saw that in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that one in the theater.
And it's still good though. It's still great.
Yeah.
Oh, the Blade TV show. I would like to check that one out. I never actually got around to seeing it. But I do want to check it out.
Damn it, I'm looking for something on my phone. Oh, I know what I'm looking for. Hold on a second.
Bestiality videos. It's okay.
That's exactly what. That's what I was looking for.
There he is, Thunderbolt Ross. And I was surprised. Like I thought he was a perfect pick in that film for Thunderbolt Ross. And when they pulled in the new guy for the Marvel movies, I thought he ended up doing very well.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, he's been holding it up. But you can't beat Sam.
No.
Now there are rumors for the new Blade movie that I don't know if it's rumors or just a fan petition. Everybody wants Wesley Snipes to be Whistler. in the new Blade, and I
Oh,
think
that'd
that
be
would be
cool.
perfect. That would be so cool, especially if you're talking, multiverse or however you want to get it done. But um,
He,
yeah, that it would be great.
I wonder if you'd like. I guess you'd definitely have to like shave his head or do something to make him not look like Blade. You know what I mean? If he has a traditional Wesley Snipes haircut,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
like give him some shaggy dreads or something.
yeah. Dreads
So he
would work
looks,
perfect. Yeah,
yeah, so he looks like an old beat up old man.
yeah, that would be awesome.
Mm.
Mahershala Ali is perfect to pick up the mantle though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, like I knew they wouldn't bring Snipes back, and I was wondering who, and he seems like he's gonna do a damn good job.
ooh, Knight Rider versus Knight Rider.
Oh, and Reese says Wesley Snipes might be Dracula in Blade. That would be pretty cool too. But see, then he's going to be the villain, and he'll be a one-off. Marvel is very good at, besides Loki killing their main villains. The Marvel Dracula is actually pretty damn cool too. So if you haven't gotten into that, like a lot of Marvel horror, it's not as popular, obviously, but they've got some really cool stuff out there that they could do a lot of stuff with. But again, they need to have a separate R-rated thing.
They do.
That
They
they're probably
do
not.
need to do that.
Yeah.
They do. So if you had to pick of the two movies we versus your Venom versus Spider Man 3, which one are you gonna pick? And there's different things. I mean, you could say one of them sucks balls, but
You could.
there's
But Venom wasn't that
nostalgia.
bad. Like,
There's nostalgia involved, and I just it makes me think of it's like which one would you pick?
that's a good question. Definitely, Venom was much more fun the first time I watched it. Didn't bother me as much, but again, I had zero expectations going in. I didn't even watch it because I was like, eh. I've seen Spider-Man 3. I mean, I don't want to say countless times, but less than I've seen the others. But I've still seen it. Usually, I watch the trilogy. If not every year, every other year.
Reese is picking Spider-Man 3 any day.
Yeah, and he might be swaying me a little bit. I think right now, so for the character of Venom, because that's what we're talking about here, I'm gonna go Venom. As a movie, I don't know. I need to see Venom a few more. I enjoyed the hell out of Venom. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, let's do double. So first of all, which Venom did you like better? You go with Venom, right? Which movie did you like better, Venom or Spider-Man 3?
That's I just learned, like, that's a tough one because I've learned to appreciate Spider-Man 3 a lot more for what, but I'm kind of running on what it could have been, what it should have been, the movie that's within the other movie, kind of like we talked about. So that's a tough one, and nostalgia. To be honest, right now, I would probably go Spider-Man 3.
Boo!
Boo!
But if it's how you feel, it's how you feel.
Right. I mean, and Venom might, like, in a few years, if it's like, okay, I want to watch a Spider-Man movie, and it comes between Venom or Spider-Man 3, I might pick Venom. So it might change.
There's no way
again,
in hell.
I'm. you gotta watch Spider-Man 3 again. That's the point. You gotta. It's an acquired taste. It's yeah, baby.
It's like,
you know what it's like? And you swish it around in your mouth.
It's like watching The Mask 2.
I've never seen The Mask 2.
Me neither, but I've seen previews and I'll never watch it. That's what it's like. It's like watching The Mask 2. It's like it's like watching Dude, Where's My Car 2.
Well, okay, here's this. This is an interesting thing. I can't remember where I read this or heard this, but so there wasn't a Mask 2. There was Son of Mask.
Yeah,
but there was a
comic.
there was a comic book giveaway where you could win a prize and be in The Mask 2, which was a movie that never happened. And it was supposed to have Jim Carrey, and it was supposed to be a sequel to The Mask. And they ended up making Son of Mask instead. So it's like, what happened to these guys who won the contest? like, like, where, like, are they, like, what did they do to these poor guys? Like, sorry, we're just not making that movie, assholes.
God damn it, Reese. The fucking comment of the night.
So Clint, you didn't say, so what, I think I might know, but what did you prefer? First, better Venom.
Dude, you crashed the internet, guys.
Kazakh says, you think it's funny, eh?
Oh, yes. Reese, you crashed the internet. That was hilarious.
We said you won the night, so we were like, mic drop. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That was hilarious. Dude, I'm gonna say Venom, man. All day, every day. Like, I enjoyed. I just don't. I like. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm getting spoiled with the
It's
great
just your first time watch.
the great intense storytelling that they're doing, where they cut the animated. Cut the Tiny Toon shenanigans. Like I said, I don't want to see somebody get bonked in the head and going, boo, like, and falling down. It's like the difference between Mummy and Indiana Jones. I want to watch Indiana Jones. I don't want to watch The Mummy. You know what I mean? Like, they're a little bit campy in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, and I do like The Mummy, but I'm just saying, like, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I feel like the Spider-Man 3 is a little bit campy and cartoony. And,
it is. It definitely
and even though Venom is cartoony or like comedy-ish, you know, with the stuff that's going on, I like the real deal ass kicking and the motorcycle thing where they're going through. That was some badass action. That was a badass, super badass. So anyway, I enjoyed that. And yeah, also. It was distracting that they cast everyone in Spider-Man 3 was sorry, Reese just cracked me up. Mummy versus Mummy, the Tom Cruise one.
I haven't seen that one. That'd be a good reason for me to watch it.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll fucking do that.
Actually, yeah, for Halloween. Yeah, why not? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't really want to watch Tom Cruise in a movie, but we'll do it.
Dude, this is something that we need to suggest a bunch of Tom Cruise, like 007 versus Mission Impossible, or John Reacher versus something else, because Curtis does not like Tom Cruise. Something about Tom Cruise.
I don't know how you burn the internet, but I will set the internet on fire somehow.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, Jack Reacher is a good movie.
I'm sure, but it's an action movie with Tom Cruise in it, right?
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah, but it's got Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah, he's badass. Like, you gotta go watch it. It's really good.
We'll set it up with something.
What I was gonna say,
I'll be forced to.
What I was gonna say is that the casting in that movie was distracting. It's like they took every major person of that era and put them in this something about the cat. Maybe
in which one? I'm sorry.
Spider-Man 3. Maybe it's just the Eddie Brock casting from that 70s show. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that definitely. I think that was the major point.
Fucked it up. Like,
yeah, but you can tell, but that's the thing too. You can tell again. He picked, I guess somebody who he thought was popular, and. He picked somebody who he thought was popular. You got to put that one up there. And then, but for Thomas Hayden Church hadn't done nothing. I mean, he was like Top Gun versus Citizen Kane.
No, he's not what I'm talking about. I think it's
but that's my point. You could tell he put a lot more thought into Sandman. He was like this. Whereas he's like Eddie Brock. Nah, sure, get the '70s kid.
Yeah, I won't watch that movie again. Like,
do it. No, please do. So for me, Thanksgiving time is epic movies. I'm not saying we have to do that on verses, but I guess because you have time off, you can sit and watch them. So like Lord of the Rings, and I usually watch the Spider Man trilogy every year, and just other like trilogies, or Star Wars definitely. Like, I usually watch Star Wars in May for Star Wars Day, but like epic movies, like just big trilogies or big franchises. And so I'm not saying you have to do that, but definitely give it some time and rewatch it, because it's the stuff that you appreciate. The stuff you appreciate will shine more, and the other stuff will just dull into the background, and you'll appreciate it more.
I want to watch X-Men First Class again. That movie is
that's a damn good one.
It's one of my faves, dude. That one's so
probably
good.
the best X-Men movie.
Well, I really like the OG X-Men movies too. The first couple. X2 was good.
X2, yeah.
But
the first one I was iffy on, but the X2 I really liked. X3 I don't remember that much. I don't remember liking it, but I don't remember it that much.
Yeah, that's
so
kind of that's where it's like, okay, I think it's like, okay, this is now it's just kind of getting foggy. Let's just throw a bunch of X-Men and sell a bunch of movie tickets, and like, okay, we got, what I mean? It's kind of, I feel like they start going kind of like the Spider-Man movies. By the third one, they're like, okay, who can we get in here? What kind of
where's the big money? Where's the big money?
Yeah, and it's not. It's just kind of rehashing all the stuff that made the first ones work. Instead of being artistic and trying something new, they're just recycling the same tricks over and over again. And then you get like, but X-Men First Class, like where you got young Magneto. Like I already love old Magneto. I'm like, Sir Ian McKellen's one of my favorites, dude. Anything he does, and he's fantastic as Magneto. He's great. And then you got the Fassbender Magneto with the finding the Germans and like floating the dagger at him, and then like pulling the dental gold or pulling the fillings out of the banker. You know what I mean? Like and all it's so badass. Like he's so awesome. Like it's so good. Sorry.
And it's before he was a bad guy. He's an idealistic young man.
Yeah.
He's like like it's great.
Phil, Punk Rock Phil's in the house. Edge of Tomorrow is a fantastic movie. Emily Blunt and somebody else. You should check it out.
Yeah, we could do that one.
And Oblivion versus Oblivion. You have to watch.
Is that the Matt Damon one?
No.
Or no, that's
two Tom Cruise movies in 1 week.
Phil, what are you doing to me, Phil?
Oh, sorry, late post.
No, that's okay. Well, actually, it's not okay. But like,
yeah, it's
maybe, but maybe you guys can turn me around. Maybe,
dude. Tom Cruise is good in that one.
I'll watch Emily Blunt do anything, so I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Reese says Halloween versus Halloween, or Freddy versus Jason versus AVP. So we're definitely gonna do one for Halloween Kills.
Mr. Mom versus Mr. Nanny. No, versus Mrs. Doubtfire.
We get dude, I love Mr. Mom. What is Mr. Nanny? Is that the Hogan one?
Clint versus Bobby. How about
Matt Damon?
How about Tootsie versus Mrs. Doubtfire?
We could definitely do that.
Oh boy.
So explain this to me, Clint. You're a musician, Phil. Y'all, why is the Perfect Strangers theme song one of the best songs ever written?
No. Is that
no? That's
song?
Full House. Perfect Strangers is standing tall on the wings of my dreams. Rise and fall on the wings of my dreams.
The Greatest is actually the Great American Hero.
Yeah, you're right.
Believe it or not. I'm walking on it.
on it.
We get any trolls in here tonight? Any trolls?
They're getting there.
Anybody want to
Yeah,
troll?
Mr. Nanny. Yeah, Mr. Nanny's Hogan. Uh, the one with the random guy throwing water in the, or throwing a kid in the water at the end. Phil says,
Kaz, are you the troll? Is that what you're saying? Yeah to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying that with an Arnold accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you the troll, Kaz? Or is Reese 75? Is he a troll?
Yeah. Kaz says he's just straight up saying yeah.
Yeah. Who's the troll? I got a song for whoever the troll is in the comments today.
For all the trolls out there, if you've got a troll in your life,
we should do a verses on theme songs.
We absolutely should. That'd be a good one. We got to make sure Dustin's here for that. And Phil, you should jump, or Phil and Dave should jump on for that. I mean, shit.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I know we got a little delay. I'm right here, says Kaz. All right, dude, I got a song for you, Mr. Kaz.
This goes out to all the trolls out there.
When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone.
Yes, that was the troll song for all those trolls out there. Roberta Bobby Anderson says the Pacifier versus Tooth Fairy 2. How about
Tooth Fairy? Wait. Tooth Fairy 2 is the one with Larry the Cable Guy, right? The Pacifier versus Tooth Fairy I get because the Pacifier is Vin Diesel and the Tooth Fairy is The Rock. But Tooth Fairy 2 has Larry the Cable Guy. We could make that work, but tell me your reasoning there, Bobby.
Phil says, comment's too big. Personally, I hated the whole Venom storyline in 1985, so I'm out. Okay.
So,
and then Kazax has a tear. He says, "I feel bad about my behavior now."
we're an educational show.
Dude, I thought Kindergarten Cop 2 was Kindergarten Cop 2 held back. I thought that was the sequel, but it wasn't.
I haven't seen that one yet. I know it's got Lundgren in it. So they're both okay. Fair enough.
Is it Todd Lundgren?
Yeah. No, Dolph.
We heard a story about Dolph Lundgren where some people broke into his home, and they broke into his house, and they're burglars, and they're in there, and then they looked around and they saw these pictures on the wall. They saw the pictures and they're like, "Oh shit, what? This is Dolph Lundgren's house." And they're like, "Dude, we gotta get the fuck out of here." And they pieced out. They didn't steal anything. They left.
That's one of my favorite lines in Expendables is whenever Dolph Lundgren's talking to Eric Roberts and he's like, "I don't usually negotiate with giants with shotguns." Like that's you don't realize how fucking big Lundgren is until that movie. Is like he's a fucking giant.
Yeah. When you break into Dolph Lundgren's house, you're fucking dead. So you better get out of there. If they die, they die. Exactly. Oh, that's funny. All right. All right, man. Read some read some comments, and I'll be right back.
So while we've got y'all here, I mean we're getting close to wrapping, but we're doing our Halloween lineup. We've got a good, strong lineup, but y'all have given us some good info in the past about what y'all want to see, and honestly, some damn good ideas for what I want to do. So while we're looking at Halloween, we've got about 4 or 5 weeks. Throw out there real quick what y'all are thinking y'all want to see. Ideally, we'll have like a vampire weekend, maybe a werewolf weekend, definitely gonna have a zombie weekend and a slasher weekend for Halloween Kills. We will have spoilers for Halloween Kills. So I'm sorry. Just save that episode if you're. But honestly, the trailer's the spoiler. Yeah. What do you want to see for werewolves, Phil? I really want to see Werewolves Within. I've heard it's spectacular, but I haven't seen it yet. And I want to pair it with something else, which is I was gonna do Resident Evil versus Underworld. We could do that, but that's a different road. Oh, Michelle Starr. Hey, welcome, Michelle Starr. Slater. I'm sorry, Slater. Yeah, I want to do The Witch. I was wondering what to pair it with. I was thinking maybe The Witch versus the original Warlock movie. We could do that. If you've got a better idea, let me know. Dog Soldiers is spectacular. The Howling is spectacular.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries. We're just getting ideas out there.
Cool.
We've got Michelle Slater here.
Witches.
So, yeah, we're talking about our Halloween lineup. So basically, we could do like a vampire, werewolves, zombies, witches, stuff like that, and what we want to, or what our guys want to see. The Witches versus Mary Poppins.
Kaz has a comment.
We could make that work.
When I don't feel very good about myself.
Just kidding.
The Witch versus Suspiria. The original or the remake? I mean, obviously, I would think you're talking about the original. Oh, the two reboots. We could. I was thinking about for slashers, like I said. So we're gonna do. We'll have a October 18th. That one's kind of set in stone. We're gonna do Halloween Kills spoilers, and we were gonna do the end of the Halloween franchises originally. So Curse of Michael Myers versus Resurrection. That's where they stopped before they started it up again. But I was thinking about we could do the end of the franchises for others, but we could also do reboots of the franchises. So that would be a pretty good one too.
Yeah.
Where was for
I'm excited to see the new Halloween.
I am as well.
I could tell it by your enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Paramount Plus for two freaking no, but it's just that's with a caveat, like always. But because there were very specific aspects of the new one, the one before Halloween Kills that really bothered me. And they kind of showed all the kills in the trailer. It seemed like they didn't show them in graphic detail, but like
yeah.
I'm
starting to get tired of trailers, dude. Like Marvel's been pretty good lately about not fucking shit up, but I mean, I was talking about this the other day. I was like, when I saw the Suicide Squad in the theater, I didn't laugh at any of the jokes because I heard them all in the trailer. I'm like, dude, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have to go see that. Like we saw it. We saw it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and have you seen the Halloween Kills trailer?
No.
There's like
a lot going on
shown just in the trailer. Like it shows you the whole first part of the movie and then like 10 other kills. So like if they put more in that, like it's great, but I mean, so Michelle Slater says October 18th is her birthday, so she wants to do witches. That one's kind of like I said, that's kind of we got that locked in for Halloween. I'm sorry. We will do a witches one that we could. So, what would be paired with witches? We had witches versus Mary Poppins. I was going to do the witch versus the original warlock. So we will definitely throw your birthday wishes at you.
There's also a new horror series. Not horror series. There's a new horror series.
There's definitely one of those out as well.
Yeah, only.
There's actually like 7,000 of them that just launched right now.
There's a new. We were talking about it on my other show, Answering for a Friend. There's a new Mexican dessert platform called OnlyFlans. OnlyFlans, get it? Kaz says, "Hey, trailers are spoiler commercials. 99% of the time, I don't watch them." Yep, I'm getting that way.
Man. I try to. I wish I could be like that. It just I can't.
There-
I see it and I really can't. I want to be like that so much. If it's certain properties I really care about, I can do better. But no, stay away from Toby. You get out of here, Venom.
There's
You were bad for him.
There's a new what do you call it? Series, a horror series that is starting on Netflix right now that just came out. That's a new. We already did Dracula with Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
but there's a new Netflix horror series that I heard. It's a series though that I heard that I've heard a little bit of buzz about that I need to look into. I've been meaning to bring it up, and I just
you say on Netflix?
On Netflix, yeah.
Is it Midnight Mass?
Yes, that's the one.
I've heard that. I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah, you guys want us to do Midnight Mass? Like we can start watching that. We'll do other verses, but then we can maybe weekly talk about another episode. Maybe catch one episode a week or something. We're gonna start doing that with certain things. Dustin and I have been watching Why the Last Man, and we might need to do an episode where we just get caught up on all of that, and then be talking about
Where's that streaming, Clint?
That's streaming on Hulu.
Shit, I don't have Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could always just hear me and Dustin ramble on for a minute. You know what I mean? And,
I want to watch it.
I know you want to be in on the action. Midnight Mass versus a Chucky TV show. Yeah, there's a new Chucky TV show happening too. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
I feel like it's on FX, which would also be on Hulu, if that's true.
I might have to get damn Hulu.
You might have to spend $12.
And Phil says, "Did I watch a classic horror story? I have not yet." And so I just wrote it down again, so that I can remember.
You know what's cool about that is if you spend the money and pay for Paramount Plus, and then you get to see Halloween Kills for free.
Mm-hmm. No, oh yeah, but it's not for you. Just said, you listen to yourself when you talk, man. If you spend
free.
the money, then you watch it for free.
Yeah, because you're spending the money anyway.
So I'd rather
here's
spend
the deal.
Money
check it out
because it's $10 for a movie ticket nowadays. Like
I know. Well, look, dude. Here's another thing: is I almost spent $19.99 to get free movie tickets. You're like, it's not free for spending $19.99, but no, you get like. It's depending. You either get unlimited movie tickets, and it's just a monthly $19 charge.
I was gonna do that, yeah.
Or it's 3 per week, which either way, I'm not watching 12 freaking movies a month. They don't, you know what I mean? I mean, I would if they were
depending
worth
on what it was.
Yeah,
exactly.
I would
Depending on the month. Yeah.
But the one that's unlimited is Regal, and that's kind of far for me to drive. It's not that far, but I don't want to drive 15 minutes when I could drive 4 minutes to you know what I mean, to the movie. I have like 2 movie theaters like right down the road. So I'm thinking about doing that. But it's funny. Like I have Hulu. I just figured out I didn't even know I had Hulu. I have Hulu. That I'd been paying for. I have Paramount Plus. I have Disney Plus. I have HBO Max. And I have Netflix. That's 5 subscriptions. So I pay for those regardless. So I've got those. I'm on it. You need Paramount Plus for the Star Trek stuff. You need Disney for Marvel and Star Wars. You need HBO Max for DC stuff. You need Hulu now for Why the Last Man. So it's like I'm just kind of screwed. I like all my franchises are scattered all over the place. So I have to have all of these things. And since I'm paying for them anyway, I'm already paying for those. So if I want to go to the movies, I could spend more money to watch a movie that's doing a day and date release, or I could stay home and watch it for free.
Yeah, and I am very much the stay home guy. Like I'm specifically getting Paramount Plus just so I can watch Halloween Kills. If they didn't have it on Paramount Plus, I would have seen it in theaters. But I'm also like I've been to live football games, live basketball games. Like, yeah, well, there's that too. I don't know
That cracked me up. Sorry, keep talking, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no. But and I don't like it. I'd rather sit at home and watch like even a live football team or football game or basketball game at home in my house. Like that's just me. Like I know, it's just everybody's preference. But yeah, it's not like it's just movies. I don't want to seem like it's concerts are a different thing. But like with movies and football or sports or something like that, like I want to see the instant replays. I want to see the close-ups. I want to like sit in my house and be able to like pause it and go take a piss or whatever. Like
Baseball's fun at the stadium.
baseball's never fun.
No, baseball sucks at home. Like I'd rather just not watch TV than watch baseball. But baseball, I mean, you got hot dogs and you got beer. Like what else do you need? If you go to also hockey games. Hockey games are fun. The crowd is I don't really give a shit who wins the game, but they're fun to watch, And I've heard from Phil and Michelle. They go to see the new Austin team. They've been going to those the soccer games. I could care less about soccer, but I'm hearing from people that don't even like soccer and guys that are from overseas. Just know that Americans have not cared about soccer for a long time, and in the last 20 years, it's been catching on. There's still a lot of people, especially in Texas, that aren't really concerned with soccer. Like a lot of people don't, but there's also a lot of people that do. But I've talked to a lot of people that are like, dude, I don't give a shit about soccer, but I had a really good time at the soccer stadium, and I think I'm going to get into it, And I was like, that's cool. Now it kind of made me want to go.
Yeah, I don't. For our UK fans, I don't care about soccer. I'm not interested in soccer. I think I've been to live soccer. I watched the World Cup. It's not my thing. But at the same time, I'm a middle school teacher in Texas. I have so many, Hispanic American students, and they would do whatever to play soccer, and we don't offer it. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Really?
Like it's amazing. Yes. I mean, like we could have the best soccer team in the history of the world, but we don't offer it. Like we've got football, and I'm a football coach. I love football, but it's like half of our student body would keep their grades up and do what they need to do to play soccer, and we're like, nah, we're just not going to offer it. Like I just don't understand it.
Reese 75 says, I'm from the UK and I don't care either.
Move on over, bud. We're ready for you. Come on.
Yeah. And Phil said, Listo verde. That means ready. Green. Yeah, dude. Well, apparently, soccer games are fun. Apparently, I've been to hockey. Hockey's is fun. Like of course, I'm drinking and eating snack food. I guess I could do that at home. Eat hot dogs, drink beer. I could handle that.
And that's the thing too. I am not a big crowd guy. Like maybe that's the thing. Like I don't know if it. Well, yeah, of course. Like, 5 a.m. Like yeah, we love you, man, but just go to bed.
Yeah.
But I'm not like that. That freaks me out a little bit or something. Maybe like even like I always liked that like whenever I'd go see Clint and other bands and stuff like that. I never went to his huge shows, of course, but the good medium sized shows and stuff. Like I'm okay with that. Festivals and stuff. But the mega freaking whatever concerts like that freaks me out a little bit. So maybe that's part of it. Like just I don't know. I don't really like people per se. Humans.
How about when you're like the only guy in the movie theater and somebody sits right behind you?
Oh my God.
I was talking about that with somebody
There should be a
else
law against that.
Yes. His Reese's phone's on 3%. I'll go to bed when my phone dies. Hell yeah. The Austin hockey games are super fun. Also, well, yeah. I'm. One of these days, Phil, I'm gonna go with you. This is gonna happen, and Michelle, of course. But cool. Well, hey, we're gonna pull the plug on this thing. We've been on for. We've only been on for 31 minutes. This stream says. That's because we accidentally cut the other one short. But we appreciate you. We had a crazy.
Yes.
We've had a crazy technical night tonight. Mercury retrograde. That's what all the weirdos would think. But yeah. So we're gonna cut it short. We're not gonna cover any other news. Other news? No, we're not gonna cover that.
Tom Cruise did cause the problems, Reese. And like, share, and subscribe. If you want to, just tell your friends. Like, hey, if you want to listen to some guys talk about movies. Clint, you went mute there for a minute. I don't know if you still are.
I'm back.
Okay. Tom Cruise did. You damn it, Reese, you got it all together tonight.
That's right.
Tom Cruise sabotaged us, and you know what? I'm not gonna let it. I'm not gonna put up with it. I'll stand my ground.
Good night, Roberta Bobber Anderson, Roberta Bobby Anderson, and Kaz. And we're going to go out with that troll video one last time on the way out. So thank you, guys. See you, Bobby. See you guys.
All my trolls.
And we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys. Well, Curtis, do you have any social media or anything you want to plug? Like, hey, you can find me here. You can message me here.
You can find, for right now, you can find me here.
All right.
Tuesday nights.
Well, guys, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. If you look for me on Instagram or Twitter, it's the OG Clint Baker. So it's the OG Clint Baker. And feel free to message me. Any of the stuff we talk about where you're like, hey, man, I just had this idea. We should do Jason X versus The Wrath of Khan, whatever. Message me on either one of those platforms. I'm good. You can find me on Facebook, too. Just do a Clint Baker search. And any suggestions, we appreciate. And we appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, we really do.
Giving us great ideas. And yeah, thanks for putting up with us tonight, guys. We love y'all so much.
Yeah, so we're gonna go out with the troll song for all you trolls out there, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone.